Hello guys, my name is Uwe Inbor from Wolfthrone Studios, and I have been reading some comments and some of you wanted to see more tutorials when I'm mixing black metal songs. So I have recorded again a 1-minute black metal song that I'm going to mix from start to finish. So you can follow me when I'm doing that. And as I did last time, I did not explain too much while mixing because I like to have a pretty consistent workflow and don't want to stop too much to explain everything. But I assume that most of you watching these videos are pretty comfortable already to understand what is going on in the mixing. So let's jump straight into the program and check how the sounds sound like from the recording. So let's start with the drums. This is the kick drums. Snare drum. And again, these are already gated on the way in through the analog equipment I have, so that's why they are sounding like they do already. This is Tom 1, or actually Tom 2. I didn't play the first Tom at all, so I threw the track away. And then we have the floor Tom, which sounds like this. Then we have the hi-hat. Pretty heavily EQ'd on the way in. Same with ride, it sounds like this. And we have the overheads. Then we have the China, which I actually like to cut, like I have done here. Just basically make a fade out when I hit it, like this. Yes, and then we have the bass DI. And the amplifier. Then we have the rhythm guitars. Again, recorded with the Yo-Yo Zombie that I made the tutorial of. Same with the bass. It's recorded through the rig that you can see in the previous tutorials I made how I record bass and guitars. Lead guitar sounds like this. Pretty heavily saturated, but it will work. Then we have some keyboard tracks. These were recorded in mono, but I will make them more stereo with reverb plugins. Then we also have the vocals. Death is lurking! Yeah! Death is lurking around! Alright, let me group these together and then we start the mix. Alright, so now I have prepared everything so I can start do the mixing. And as I always do, I start with the drums. Some more saturation here. Yes. Then I will make it hit a little bit harder, the snare drum. Yeah, that's a pretty good starting point right there. Let's check in context. Alright, let's check some other instruments before I dialing in more the drums. Let's move on to bass. Yeah, let's start with some guitars as well. do the same thing with the toms. I will take all the drums, including the effects, into a separate group so I can, you know, mix them together. So I'll name this drums with FX. Here I will process the drums a little bit with some bus compression and stuff. shape the reverb a little bit still. Yeah, that frequency specifically. Now the reverb on the snare starts to sound like it's blended pretty good with the drums. It sounds big, but it doesn't take over so much. Still see. Now I think also we'll start to add some what is it called, master chain. So yeah, let's see. Controlling the low end a little bit before I will hit it with boost compressor, just a little bit to tame the biggest transients of the low end. And I use, of course, this standard that everyone else is using. Yeah, 1 to 2 dB is enough for me. I try to think that the only purpose of this drum bus is to have everything in check, so the low end is not behaving too crazy when it comes to mastering later. And the best thing is to mix into it, so you take decisions based on how the sound starts to sound when it's hitting this master bus compression. And even better is if I forget that I even have it. So yeah, let's continue. And another cool trick that I do when mixing, that I also did in the previous video, is to route everything except the vocals and the drums into a separate bus, where I can also control a little bit the low end and stuff, so it makes the drums hit harder and the vocals to sit better in the mix, in my opinion. Well, I do it, and you can follow me along while doing it. But first, let's mix a little bit already the keyboards. And another trick you can do when you're mixing mono keyboards is to add some chorus to it, just to make it a little bit spread out and more wider. Not too much, but so it feels at least a little bit stereo over it. Already this is much better than before. Mono. than stereo. And also feeding it into a reverb makes it much more stereo. And Bloom have a really nice reset to make everything wide. Was it wide synths? Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. No, it sounds like it was recorded in stereo at least. We can have this as a starting point. And when I mix keyboards in black metal, I don't like them to take so much focus. So to find a good balance with them in the mix is to listen to the guitars at the same time while dialing them in, because guitars will always be like the main focus in black metal. Without guitars, it's not so driving anymore. And again, I chose to do this tutorial the same way as I did last time, that I only have 2 rhythm guitars instead of quad tracked. I will multi-band compress the keyboard still a little bit. Sometimes they're poking out too much on some chords. Yeah, just to keep them in check. Cymbals are still maybe a little bit too loud and too harsh, I would say, so let's try to soothe them a little bit. better. I will also multi-band compress them a little bit. I feel they need that. I think the kick drums needs to be processed. I don't know exactly yet what to do. As you have noticed when I'm mixing and not talking too much, what I'm doing is I like just to do stuff like a lot. How can I describe it? I tweak till I'm happy. I do it pretty quickly nowadays, but because every mix and every recording sounds different, you just need to find ways how to make everything sit in the mix. And because mixing is art and not rocket science, you need to test shit to get to get a result that you're happy with. So let's continue. Also, as you notice, I'm not a big fan of triggering stuff just to get the mix down quicker. I like instead to focus on recording everything good enough so you can actually use the stuff that you recorded instead of replacing it. Like with kick drums and snare in modern metal and black metal, when everything needs to be big and fat and in your face, it's getting trickier, of course, to get those raw tracks to cut through in the mix and stuff. But I think it's still better way to learn how to do it instead of just sample replacing everything and make it sound fake. I don't know what is the best word to describe it, but I hear triggering immediately, and I have heard it for so many years now, and I start to like more and more the old school way of doing stuff when everything is organic. You can hear the real dynamics in everything. So I'm keeping tweaking the tracks still. I'm happy with them. Of course, in some situations you might end up that you have no option. That one reason can be that it's pretty poorly recorded. If you're clipping, let's say, snare and kick on the way in, and or the mic placement is bad, and you only get like a really boomy kick drum and you don't hear any definition in the high end and stuff. Of course, in those situations, you have no option. You have to at least blend in a trigger to get it to really cut through the mix, and same goes with snare drum. So my tip would be to you to, if you want to put down your time into mastering this art, focus more on learning how to record than learning how to mix. Because if you are recording everything properly, the mix will be solved automatically. I think that's my philosophy, at least, that if it sounds good raw, it will sound just better with the mix. But if it sounds messy already in the recording, the mix can only help you this far, but not all the way till the end. So that was my tip for today. Let's continue with the mixing. As you hear now, the kick drum starts already to cut through in this dense mix. Yeah, I think we can start mixing the vocals now.
Death is seeking you. Death is lurking around. Death is seeking you. Death is seeking you. Death is seeking you. Death is lurking.
I can quickly explain what this plugin is doing. As you can see, I'm a big fan of the Black Salt audio plugins, because they have basically replaced my long chain that I used to have on everything. Like with vocals, my chain used to be fucking, I don't know, 20 plugins or something. But this takes me at least halfway there, or sometimes even 80% there. It's insane. So what this plugin is doing, this is the main compression that you add to the overall before it goes through the rest of the chain. And yeah, you can follow along.
Death is seeking you. 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 Death is Death is seeking. Death is seeking. Death is seeking. Yeah. Death is seeking. Yeah. Death is seeking. Yeah. Death.
I think I will suit the vocals a little bit before it goes into this plugin.
Death is seeking. Yeah. 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 Death is seeking. Death is seeking. Yeah. Death is seeking. Death is seeking. Yeah. Death. Death.
Yeah, much better like this.
Death is seeking. Yeah. Death is knocking around!
Alright, now we can at least start listening in context. Yeah, we can start there. Let's start working on the effects chain of the vocals. I like to start with delay that's feeding into a reverb. Always works for black metal at least. And my favorite reverb is the plate reverb.
Death is seeking you! Death is knocking! Death is seeking you! Death is knocking around! Death is seeking you! Death is knocking around!
I think I will multi-band compress the vocals still a little bit.
Death is seeking you! Death is seeking you! Death is seeking you! Death is knocking around!
Alright. Let's check the lead guitar. Where is it? There. Yes, and then we can add some effects to it. I pretty much do the same thing as I do with the vocals. Delay into reverb is always a nice way to get them really wide and so on. First an EQ, it goes into a delay, then into a reverb, and another EQ to shape the tail of the reverb. And now what I can do is add suit to this group that have all the instruments but no drums, no vocals. And then I can sidechain to this group the kick, snare, vocals, so when those elements kicks in, it will duck everything in a very musical way, so it just feels like everything is just a little bit more heavy, a little bit more in your face. But be careful, of course, to not do it too much. You can hear the effect. It will try to do it more as you can feel that everything is closer, but you cannot hear that everything is closer, like the kick drum and snare. So yeah, let's root everything here. Kick, snare, yeah, also toms, of course. So they really cut through the mix. Also vocals there. Like this. And then we find fine balance between all of this. Do this, you can hear how well you can hear the kick drum, so now I can actually lower the kick drum a little bit in the mix. Check a little bit the EQ on the whole master now, because I'm getting pretty close to the end of the mix now. I can actually do some tweaking on the master bus at this point. I like to go with the smart EQ because I can do mid and sides on this one. I think I am at the stage where I can start to do the automations on everything. If you remember from the last episode when I did it, I want to focus on one thing, only one thing at once, and I always start with kick drum. So let's go from beginning to the end and see where it feels like it needs to be pushed or lower. And then I take snare, same with toms, overheads, bass, guitars, lead, vocals. This process is boring, but it needs to be done if you want to sound professional. It's no no secret compression trick or anything, just to make everything fit in the mix. Everything needs to be automated to the point where it feels like the mix is breathing and actually living, so it doesn't sound the same all the time. If it does that, it gets boring after a while. So when you are prepared to take this step as a music mixer, this will take your music to the next level. And same goes actually with like for instance drum editing and guitar editing and stuff. If you record a good drum take but some of the snare drums are a little bit late or too early, it's better to just put them a little bit closer to the grid most of the time. So if it is not, of course, in a way that it's musically chosen to be a little bit more driven, if you play D-beat crust punk, it can sound even better if the snare are a little bit too early every hit. But in most cases, it's better to actually go in and editing the drums, especially, so they are much tighter. As you can see here, I have already done this step when I did the recording. It's no point, of course, to make it exactly on the grid. Let's say that this snare drum was played a little bit late, so you can hear it. If it was played here, for instance, I just take it a little bit closer to the grid, listening back, so it feels like, okay, this sounds solid, it sounds natural. You get so much further if you are prepared to put more time into editing as well. Maybe I should make an episode how I do when I edit drums, for instance. Maybe some of you guys would be interested. You can comment if you want me to do a video like that. But yes, let's continue. Volume automation. I like the drive here actually, so I will not make the kick drum to disappear too much. Here they can go a little bit lower because of the build up in the low end. Here definitely lower. Actually, here in the end I want it to be a little bit louder because it gets a really nice drive to the last riff when you can really feel the kick drum in your face. Last kick drum can be a little bit more quieter. Yeah, something like that. And then I move on to the snare drum. Maybe a little bit more punch here. Yeah. I think the blast beat feels pretty solid here. Then we check the toms also. First, I will actually make a little bit multi-band compression on the toms so they are more even through the song. Yeah, much better. Yeah, something like that. Excuse that I played this part so on tight, the fill, as you can hear. It is what it is. Yeah, like that. Little bit quieter. These first hits need to be much louder. Then we take the cymbals. China can be much louder here. Maybe ride only can be a little bit. Let's try that. Yeah. I would maybe raise all the cymbals on this part so it's a little bit more intense. And also remove one resonance I can hear. I would raise the ride here again. something like this. Then we check the bass. I would maybe also boost the top end in the bass now. Feels like it can benefit from that. Let's see. Good. Then we can take the rhythm guitars. Yeah, something like that. And one thing I will do also with the lead guitar is to sidechain it with the rhythm guitar. So when the lead guitar is playing, the rhythm guitars is giving more space to it. So I open up Suit. Then we take importing lead guitar. Like this. Something like that. because the vocals is starting immediately there, I want it to duck immediately, but not too much so you hear the volume change. It's a little bit too much. Yeah. Alright, and then we have keyboards. Maybe you noticed I want it a little bit louder in the beginning, so when the song opens it feels fucking massive. Here the first chords are kinda what your attention is focusing on, so they can be a little bit louder before the vocals kicks in. I think that is pretty good, and now we have the vocals left. Here are also one of these classics when you want the vocals to start close and then it fading away all the way into the abyss. And one way to do that is to lower the scream as it goes and increase the reverb as it goes. So something like this. Let's see how this would sound like. this so I can see anything. And same thing here, I would say. To do a little bit fading into the abyss. Let's play the whole song one more time and see if we react to something that we want to change. Just put it somewhere here so I cannot see the tracks, just listen. Maybe lead guitar can be a little bit more quieter. Just a little bit. Maybe during this part we can have a little bit more reverb on the snare so it feels like really driving. Let's try that. And in the beginning, maybe more reverb on the toms, these tutun, tutun. So they feel larger than life, basically.
It's
See how it sounded before. Just wanna mute these tracks here. Also this one. Here I would also put a little bit more reverb on the snare, the slower parts in general. Yeah, I would say that this mix is pretty good. If this was not my band, because I recorded everything, if this was someone else's band that I have been mixing, this would be the stage where I send this mix for review to see if I'm in the right direction, if I'm following the vision that the band have in mind when they sent this to me to be mixed. So sometimes it can be that they want, can you raise the vocals, can you try to make maybe the vocals to have less or more mid-range, can you make the guitars brighter, you know, stuff that is up to taste. But since this is now a tutorial with just a demo song that I made today to demonstrate how my mixing flow looks like, I think this one is done for now. So the next episode would be when I'm again mastering this song and see if I do something in that video that you can learn something from as well. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this content, I would like a lot if you can like it and comment what you want to see more in the future, or if this is what you want me to do mostly. And of course subscribe if you want to see more content of me. Thank you so much for watching. Over and out.